Hi guys, so welcome back to First Up Podcast, the channel that gives you all you need to know about football. We share opinions on the happenings in football. My name is Dennis, and I'm here with
Patrick.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the EPL 2024-2025 season just ended. A lot of happenings have happened in the game. Today we want to talk about the coaches and how they performed. Some performed very, very well, exceptionally. Some were surprises of the season, and some were the worst performers of the season. So we're going to break it down, those that performed best and those that really, really, really performed woefully. So let's get into it immediately as soon as possible so that we can just get there. So, bro,
Yo.
welcome back.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so the season came with a lot of ups and downs. Not
Yeah.
so much for your team. I think they are one of the teams that were very consistent when it comes to
Which
performance.
team is that?
If you don't know who you support, then we have a problem.
Yes.
So
Yes,
Liverpool
yes,
did
yes.
so well.
Ah,
I mean, and when it comes to ranking, I don't know what your top five coaches in the season will be. So maybe I'll leave you to rank them
Yeah.
from 1 to 5. Who you thought did so well, in your opinion?
Okay, wonderful. So, like you rightly said, I mean, we had a wonderful season.
Yeah.
All coaches did their best,
Mm.
but of course, out of all of them, there were those who were top notch.
Okay.
If I am to rank, obviously, we saw what Arne Slot did coming
Yeah.
in as his first season in the Premier League and being able to carry that trophy is actually a big deal.
Okay.
So he will rank number one
Okay,
for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Number two, obviously, would have been or is the genius in the game in the EPL, which is Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
He had
Amidst all his challenges.
I'm telling you, and that is why he always be number two for me, because
Okay.
all the things that he had to go through, he was still able to come to a certain level, which was quite appreciable.
Okay. Will be
I
your
mean,
third?
barring all the circumstances. My third would be Eddie Howe.
Anyhow.
Yeah,
Okay.
my third would be
Okay.
Eddie Howe. We've always said that Eddie Howe has this hype, and it's because he's an English coach, that's why they're hyping him. But then what he did this season, and then
Yeah.
picking up the trophy, I think it was FA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
it wasn't the FA, it was
Carabao.
actually the Carabao.
Yeah.
And he played the finals against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Which was actually a big. Then I think after 28 years or something, they had picked up a trophy, which was a very good thing. He has actually
So that's your
changed.
third.
Yeah, that's the third. He has
Okay.
actually changed the team, so I think that was good. My fourth would be Arteta.
Okay.
Yeah, my fourth would be Arteta. Of course, I think he also did his best, even though there's still more room for improvement
Okay.
for him to actually improve upon it.
Yeah.
And my fifth will be Nuno.
Nuno Espírito
Nuno
Santo.
Espírito Santos.
Okay.
I mean, Forest was amazing. In fact, Forest was one of the biggest thorn in the flesh in most of the top four teams
Okay.
in the Premier League this season. So that will be my ranking for these coaches for the 2024-2025 season.
That's a good shout. Good
Yeah,
shout.
yeah.
Me personally, I think I agree with you when it comes to Arne Slot. For his first season, nobody was expecting him to
No one.
do what he did.
No one.
So yes, I'll give him the first slot. Next, I'm basically ranking between Pep and then Arteta. Arteta has been consistent at the second slot. If you are focusing just on this season and not just who the caliber of the coaches are, I'll put Arteta second because I think that he's been consistent.
Is it because
in
you're
terms of the
second in the
position.
league?
Well, I mean, they've been second, I think, for
Why
two or three
are we
seasons.
always giving them that number?
Well, I mean, you're not giving it to them. That's where they were. So, for me, I'll give it to Arteta.
Okay.
Third, I'll give to Pep. Because,
Okay.
yes, there was a comeback there. So,
Yeah.
nobody, at some point, we even contemplate whether they will make the top four. But I think with his caliber and his experience, everybody said now, no matter what, Pep will be in there. He actually
he did it.
did that.
Yeah.
So, we'll give that to him. I'll also bring in another coach that you've not mentioned. I think Unai Emery. It's also did some wonders, especially in January. He brought in some exceptional signings in Marcus Rashford and Asensio that came to up their game a bit. Their kind of play is very, very exciting.
Very.
It makes it quite good for me. I hear what you say about Eddie Howe. I felt some of the games that you expected them to win, they lost. And for that reason, I'll just sneak in, what do you call it, Nuno in as the final one for me.
Wow.
And Eddie Howe misses out just a little bit. So for me, that's my top five. But let's go into the details by just talking more about their performance. So let's take them one by one. Arne Slot
Yeah.
came out from a Netherlands coach nobody really knew him much. But I think most of us who watch the EPL don't have the opportunity to watch the
The other
Netherlands
leagues, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were all shocked. And I say kudos to Liverpool because when his name was shot as a replacement for Klopp, not much of us knew him, and nobody expected that he would come and continue and even do what he did.
Yeah.
Out of 38 games in the Premier League, I think he won 25. He drew 9 and lost only 4, which is, I think, exceptional. He clinched the title with 84 points, and I think it was quite a comfortable way. I don't think any team chased them down. Everybody was expecting Arteta and his Arsenal team to do that, but they didn't. So I think he came in. He's not changed much. He tweaked the performance in terms of how they play a little bit, and he's been able to at least show something. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's very impressive for the way he did. And I also believe that the introduction of the new coach just before Klopp left, the whole process was very important.
Okay.
For the club to accept him very quickly was also very, very important because the leaving of Klopp was quite traumatic and dramatic for the team. So I think that whole process was very good. So he was able to fit in very quickly. And like the stats you mentioned, I mean, to play all these games, 38 matches, and winning about 25 of them, it's actually a big deal.
It is.
It's actually a big deal.
He actually has the best winning percentage for every Liverpool coach so far.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal. So I believe that his performance, what he was able to bring out of the team, some of the additions in terms of the players that we already had that he actually transformed, like Gravenberg and the rest.
That was a master.
It was a wonderful thing.
Because, before he came in, Klopp was really trying to get a DM.
Yes.
Where he really pushed for Caicedo.
And didn't go
and all that. So, and then he brought in Sabola and all that. But since Slot took he made that decision of bringing Gravenberg to that position.
It really worked well.
It really did well, and that was genius. Yeah,
it was great. So I think that all in all, he's done exceptionally well.
Yes.
And I believe that he has actually put a lot of pressure on the shoulders by his good performance.
Yeah.
So now nobody's expecting anything less. But of course, let's see how the next season goes.
Nice. So let's go to the next coach, which is Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
Pep has always been at the top when it comes to the EPL. I mean, they won consistently for 4 seasons. They were trying to go for the 5th, which we all expected that there could be a fumble, but not as worse as because we felt that the players may not have the same drive and desire to go for the 5th.
Yeah.
But I don't think we all expected him to drop that badly. Obviously, there's been talk about reasons off the pitch why they dropped off. You could see he had some domestic challenges with his wife. Apart from that, too, his players who he has done this with were aging, and it showed he had injuries to his key players like De Bruyne and Rodri, and that all contributed to his performance. I don't think anybody expected less of him finishing out of the top 4. That would have been catastrophic.
Very catastrophic.
But, I mean, Pep being Pep was able to gradually put 1 or 2 things together. In January, he went in to bring in a few signings to come and post up whatever he was doing. And they were able to finish 3rd. What is your take on Pep?
Yeah, Pep has been fantastic. In all this, if you still look at his stats, I mean, Pep played 38 games.
Yeah.
And he lost 9 games out of that. Now, even in Pep's difficult moment or worst season, you still look at the stats and it's not that bad.
Of course.
Because I think what he struggled from was the number of games he was drawing. He drew about 8 games, which was quite problematic. But I think all in all, looking at the circumstances around his season, his injured players, his aged players, his domestic issues that also came up, I think we have to be fair to him and let people know that. I mean, Pep is still Pep, because at the end of the day, any other person could have gone through what he did, would have given up. At a certain point, I actually thought, this guy is going to give up, but he never did. He kept on coming, taking 1 game at a time. And top 4 was what he expected, and that's what he got.
Do you know something I noticed mostly in these football coaches? Most of the time, a coach is really doing so well. He has a good season. Probably the next season, he decides to extend his contract, and all of a sudden, like it becomes chaotic. Although you never associate that with Pep because he's been consistent over the years. But most times, as soon as a coach goes to
it happens a lot.
You realize that all of a sudden
The tragedy,
I don't know whether it comes from the
and
dressing
I
room.
always remember that with Mourinho at Manchester United.
Yeah,
it was catastrophic.
There's so many examples.
Yeah, so many examples.
I don't know what that is.
And that is why that saying is always there, and say that you have to know when to bow out.
Quit at the top.
At the top.
Because
when the applaud is loud.
If Pep had left and didn't renew, his record would have been untouchable.
But we had a discussion. I said it would have been difficult for Pep to leave at that particular time.
Why?
Yeah, because we all know Pep as that person with extraordinary leadership skills. Mm-hmm. And at the time Pep's contract was ending, I don't think that City was looking all that sharp. And I think there were a few challenges during that period.
No, but that was before. After. But before, where he just finished his fourth trophy of the EPL, whereby they won the treble the season before he won again. And like everybody know, okay, when he came into the EPL, they said his style of play was not going to help survive. Him, and he actually struggled to get it going. Once he got it going, he was able to take back-to-back trophies. 4 times. So if he drops the mic, I don't think anybody could have said, "Hey, he's running away."
But his love for Manchester City was deep.
I don't think it's love. I think if you look at Pep and what he needs to be able to deliver after Man City, where? That is the question. Because he's done Spain. Right now, what is happening at Barcelona? I don't think they are looking at him now.
I don't.
He was done Germany, the Bundesliga at Bayern, which he did what he can there. He did good, but he couldn't win the Champions League. But I think he won the. Yeah. But I mean, everybody will argue that. But then, in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich is supposed to win anyway.
Anyway,
when he came into City had won just one of the EPLs, and they were not.
And people forget about that. City was not the City we are looking at today.
Not
City
at all.
was not even part of the discussion.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was it. But aside that, he came in and he's been able to transform and done whatever. So for me, if he had decided not to extend and move on, that would have been great. But when the crisis started, if he had left at that time, that would have been a dent on his.
But then you said something, and briefly I'll just bring it up. You said Guardiola going to Barcelona is quite out of the question now.
Yes.
Now, looking at the caliber of guys, young boys at Barcelona, do you think they will survive under a coach like Guardiola?
No, Guardiola really thrives on experience.
Yeah.
And I feel that most of them now, he wouldn't go. Because if you look at how Hansi Flick plays, it's not so possessive based as Guardiola
want to play.
They are more attack. I mean, will outscore you, and then if you score, that's fine.
Come and score. Let me also try and score. Yeah.
And I don't think most of those players will survive at that.
Yeah, I don't think they will survive. Aside his even style of play, the discipline that he works with. Yes. And I watch the boys at Barcelona now. It's like they're just having fun. But when it's time to play with Guardiola, it's not about having fun.
No.
Do what I've said on the pitch. Yeah. If you don't do it, you sit down.
But if you look at somebody like, what's the new boy?
Lamine Yamal.
He plays with instincts.
Yeah.
So he may decide to just take a player on, come onto his left and shoot.
Guardiola will vex you. Hey.
Guardiola wants you to go to the bar line and cross or cut in. And it will be difficult. He may have an effect on him that may not bring that
the best out of
creativity that we are seeing now.
Yeah, so that's true.
I don't know if he will do so well under Guardiola. So let's go to the next coach. I think let's not go according to how we rank. Let's just talk about.
Let's just talk about them.
So let's come to Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
I think that's a controversial one because everybody have their opinion about Arteta. He's been at the helm at Arsenal for 5 years. They've not won anything.
Yeah.
The last game, EPL campaign, they won 20.
Okay.
They drew a lot. That was 14 draws.
Yeah.
And then they lost 4. So if you look at their draws, that is really, really, damning.
Yeah.
14 draws is like a whole lot.
Yeah.
And for a team that boasts of one of the best defense in the EPL, that means that you are not scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Because if you are scoring, I don't think most of these draws would have been draws.
Come up,
So what is your take on Arteta?
Yeah, so my take on his performance has got to do with these stats that you've mentioned. I mean, anytime I have an argument with somebody about Arteta, and these are the stats that I use to make my point. If you are playing...
By somebody, you mean Arsenal fans?
Yeah, Arsenal fans.
You're a brave man.
Arsenal fans, yeah.
You have argument with Arsenal fans?
It's not easy though. So if you are to play 38 games in a season, and you are to draw 14 of them, it means two things. It means two things. One, it means that for half of the season, you are either lagging behind goals, so you always have to struggle to equalize. Or two, your concentration is terrible so much that at the end of the day, anytime you are leading in a game,
so the game management is poor.
Game management is poor. Because to play a team like Arsenal, to go through various seasons up to this point, and come into the 2024-2025 season and draw 14 games, it's problematic.
I mean, if you pay attention, I think during the final end of the season, they dropped off
a lot,
because you could see that with how they started the season and everything, the end of the season came quite slow. You can put down to injuries or whatever, but for the fact that they were almost drawn into the top 4 race, barring the last 3 games and how they performed, I think that was quite surprising.
No, it was surprising because they should just thank their stars that Guardiola or City had all these challenges. Because believe you me, there were just a few games that City was supposed to just, win those games. Arsenal would have not been second.
But do you think it is fair that we had that big of a situation on them that they had to win last season? I mean, nobody was anticipating Guardiola to fall off or City to fall off. But it looks like the expectation was very high that the way they pushed City the season prior.
That's Arsenal.
Yes, they were supposed to win no matter what this season. Was it fair?
No. So I think it's not fair. And I think that is what is putting so much weight on them.
Okay.
Anytime they start a season, they are very jittery because in their minds, the season before, and that's what their fans are doing to them.
By the fans, yeah.
Yeah, because the season before, they were second and they were almost at it. So that means this season you are supposed to be first. That's not what it means.
Yeah.
Look at what happened to City. So in as much as Arsenal should improve upon their game, should make some very important changes with their players, I still feel as though that they should relax and play the ball with a bit of urgency as well. Because don't come in the game and think that, because you were second last season, you are supposed to be first.
You are still accumulating points. So the points are not given. You have to
exactly.
fight for them.
You have to fight for them.
Yeah.
So you can be second this season. Next season, you can be fourth.
True.
You can be first. You can be fifth.
True.
So they should just work on their strategy, work on their players, work on their fans.
But with these coaches, they don't really pay attention to the game by game. What they look at is, okay, last season we got 72 points. If we improve on that, it's been a good season. So they look at that. So if Arteta says, okay, I pushed City to the wire, we made, let's say, 80 points or whatever. This season, if City won with, let's say, 84 points, we have to try and probably do more than 85 and we'll win the league. That's how they look at it.
Yeah, but then that's the challenge is whilst your target is City, and whilst their target was City, City was third.
To be fair, Liverpool sneaked in. Nobody was actually counting on Liverpool to win the league. If you look at most of the pundits and their predictions, most went for Liverpool in top 4, but not to win.
Yeah, but then you see, with the performance,
they were surprised.
But the performance, it would have been a surprise of the season, maybe because of the new coach coming in.
Yeah.
But with the performance of Liverpool over the years, you can't target a team like Man City and decide to ignore Liverpool. It's not possible.
I don't think anyone in football could have put hand to chest and said that Liverpool was going to win. Being aware of all the issues, their best coach leaving, some of the players, their contracts were up in the air.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things going on in there that would have made anyone think that, okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying that there's no season that you would want to go into any serious team and try to rule out Liverpool now.
True.
Yeah. Because we've had a good season over the period.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that if anybody thought that we're not part of the teams that you're supposed to look out for, then basically would have been the reasons you gave. A new coach coming in, he has to settle. So he's no force to reckon with. Let us look at City, who still has Guardiola, and it might be challenging. So I think.
So with what you said, if Arsenal signs a quality striker, do you think they can win the league this coming season?
Well, ideally they should.
Okay.
Ideally, they should, if they should get in their right caliber of players. But I still have a problem with the mindset and the mentality of their coach.
Okay.
I still have a problem with the leadership qualities of Arteta. And maybe if that is not looked at, you can bring all the kind of players that you have, or the kind of players that you need, and you still have these problems.
You think he's not a leader?
I think he can pass for a leader, but he might not pass for all the qualities that a leader needs or a leader has to have, especially in the moment that they find themselves in. Sometimes I ask myself, is Arteta the kind of leader who can say that, you know what, scrap whatever happened, team, let's go in for this time and let's do it differently. You know, I see him as someone who tries to act like what he's not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my problem. And the truth of the matter is, the players derive their energies from their coach.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. So if you're not the kind of coach that players can actually drive or suck out some of the energy and bring it on the pitch, then it becomes a problem. We've all seen some of his dressing room pep talks, you know, trying to motivate the players. Sometimes I feel it's a bit off. Sometimes I feel as though that even the body language of the players is like, okay, there he goes again, you know. But then there's still room for improvement, I think. I think he should have people who can actually talk to him. I think maybe some of the psychologists on the team can actually talk to him, because I think now there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. It's really getting to him. The performance of Arsenal is sometimes very problematic to him, I'm sure. Because if you have almost at it last season and you come back this season, it's almost the same thing that happened. And you start asking yourself, like, what's really the problem? Is it my players? Do I change my players? Is it my formation? What do I need to do? So all those things. So I think aside bringing in players, the coach needs to work on himself.
Okay. Well, I mean, Arsenal fans have something to be excited about. I mean, per research and the information that have come out, Arteta has 200 million to spend this summer. And if he's able to really bring in the right caliber of players that Arsenal needs, we should see something exciting. So if you're an Arsenal fan, join the comment section. Let's hear what you think. Which are the signings that you think that your coach needs, Arsenal needs, that can bring you over the line? Because it will be very damning that after 5 years, the 6th season, Arteta has to walk away because he just couldn't win. Now let's go to another coach that is actually quite exciting. Unai Emery.
Unai Emery.
A legend of the game. He's been around.
Legend.
I don't know whether he gets the props he deserves.
Legend.
What I like with Unai Emery at Aston Villa, I think I've said this before, they've left the realms for him. They have actually trusted fully in his ability. And say, okay, just take the team and do what you need with it. Which I think is a smart move. I don't know whether for a bigger team like the Liverpool's, the Chelsea's, the United's, they can put that level of confidence and responsibility to a coach. But it looks like that's what Aston Villa has done. And it's actually paying off. Last season, they were in the Champions League. They were actually the team that almost beat PSG. They actually did marvelously well. Although it had a toll on them in the EPL because probably they didn't have the numbers in terms of the players to rotate. Out of 38 games, he won 19, he drew 9 and lost 10, which as Aston Villa, I don't think is bad.
It's not bad at all. I think Unai has done a lot of good things in the EPL this season. Like you rightly said, in the Champions League, they performed wonderfully well. For their level. I think they did very well. But there's, like you said, Unai is making his players feel very comfortable on the pitch, playing the kind of game that they want to, and also bringing in all kinds of players that makes the Aston Villa team more interesting to watch. Their counter-attack team, play is very amazing. And I think that he's one of the coaches that is not getting the kind of props that he deserves. He's done a lot in Spain. He's done a lot in Spain. Even in the EPL, when he came to Arsenal, it wasn't bad. Of course, Arsenal had their own challenges. But then
let me hold you there. Do you think if Unai Emery had continued the Arsenal project, they would have won something by now?
Yeah, but at a certain point, I don't know where we ever had a discussion. I really wondered, maybe I don't have the information very well. I'm wondering why he actually left.
No, there was lots of pressure from the fans. They didn't want him there again.
Because I think he was building something.
He did, he was.
Yeah, he was building something. So I think if they had given him some time, but who knows? Maybe they know what they saw and they made him go. But I think he's a very good coach. Then I also think we should watch out for him this season. I don't know the kind of players that he's going to pull up again and bring into Aston Villa, but I know he has a lot to offer. But playing Aston Villa now in the EPL is actually a big deal, and you shouldn't take them for granted.
Now last season they fell shy of the Champions League spots. They were
almost at it.
For the financial reasons, I can see why it's a big dent because obviously the Champions League brings a lot of financial advantages to the team.
Yeah.
But for me, if you're looking at trophies and whatever, I think Europa League could be a blessing in disguise for
them. Yeah.
If you're talking about the team, the coach that have won the Europa League,
that's
Unai Emery, and it could actually be a road to glory for. But he has the experience.
He does.
He has the know-how when it comes to the Europa League, and it could actually turn out to be because even if they have qualified for the Champions League, does anyone believe that they can win it? I don't think so. But with the Europa League, I think they stand a chance.
Yeah, they actually do. They actually do. Especially like what you said. Unai Emery is the champion of Europa League.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the leagues that most of these teams, when they get into, they can actually pull their weight and carry such a trophy.
100%.
And I think with the caliber of players he has, with the performance that they showed up in the Champions League and what they did in the EPL, Europa will be perfect for them.
They can build on it.
Yeah, they can build on
it.
Yeah,
so Unai Emery is a very good coach. Let's see. Let's come to Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
If there is a coach that is actually putting English coaches on the map, it's Eddie Howe. I think over the years, we've had some amazing English coaches, but nobody has been able to actually pull what Eddie Howe is doing because sometimes I guess it gets a bit embarrassing for the English populace when you look at the fact that the EPL is actually the best league in the world, but you always see the English coaches laboring with the lower teams and are not able to really push for the top. But Eddie Howe seems to gradually, I mean, he has built his career slowly. He spent a long number of years with Bournemouth. Learned his trade. They were somewhere in the middle. Then they fell off, they sacked him. And out of nowhere, he was able to get the Newcastle job, which was surprising because Newcastle actually came in, they got into some new money with the new owners. They had the props as being the best or the most wealthy club in the world. So everybody was expecting them to go out for the Mourinho's, the blockbuster coaches. I hear they did a lot of interviews, but Eddie Howe came in with his PowerPoint and was able to wow the directors. And they decided to go with him. And I think since he's been in there, he's not actually done bad. What's your thoughts on Eddie Howe?
Yeah, Eddie Howe is amazing. I actually used to think that he was just being overhyped over the period because you know how these English people love their own.
Of course.
Yeah. But then, like you said, when these owners came in from Saudi to pump all that money in it, I was like, oh, damn. They might let this guy go because they can actually afford whichever coach that they want. But they actually kept their hope in him and maintained him. And I think he has not disappointed them at all.
I don't think so.
I don't think he has disappointed them at all because I'm sure for a team like Newcastle, in the boardroom, he would have promised them, maybe let's see what happens next season or in 2 seasons. But to come out of a season and bring a trophy out of all these years, I think it's actually a big deal. He has performed well. The kind of players that he has, the kind of energy that he's able to instill into his players and into his game, it's amazing. Their physicality is crazy.
You still see the English game.
Yes.
When you see the proper Premier League team when they play.
Because they have the proper English play, like the Trippier and the rest in there who are also in there, you know. Very physical. You know, we played the finals with them, wasn't easy. Look, Liverpool struggled.
They are a very physical team.
Very physical.
Yeah. But I mean, with 38, when look at their stats, 38 games, he won 20, drew 6 and lost 12. Maybe too much losses. But I think they didn't start the season well.
There was a latter part that
the mid-season they came in. Then the latter part, the games that you were expecting them to just bag 3 points, some of them they drew and then they lost, which actually had a dent. They almost missed out on the top 4 because if not for the fact that this season we were blessed with the top 5, they would have missed out. And also, if you look at the final game, which became the game of Titans, because
that's what they play with Chelsea, right?
No, the final game they didn't play with Chelsea. Chelsea played with Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest,
exactly. And if you realize that if they had won that game, the story of their season. So I think with Eddie Howe, bagging in a trophy shows that there's progress. I think over the past 2 seasons or 3 seasons, he's been able to put them in the Champions League, which is also good. He's brought in some very quality players in Isak. Right now, everybody is mouth-watering over Isak.
Liverpool is chasing Isak.
Kudos on the scouts on the Isak. I always saw Isak as a very good player. I don't know why all the big teams didn't go for him, but you don't blame them because his physique doesn't show you that.
His physique doesn't give you that footballer.
He can fit in the Premier League, but he's coming there. He's doing well. If Newcastle are able to hold on to Isak and with players like Tonel? What is it?
The
Italian guy. I don't remember his name. Tommy something. And then the one who had he's the one who had the betting issues. That one is in West Ham.
No, that was in West Ham.
Okay. And then with Bruno Guimaraes,
wonderful.
If you build around these players and bring him some more quality, and the house seems to be building something.
Yeah,
there's progress.
There's progress.
And this season, they could actually go for a bigger trophy in the FA Cup, and that could show that, okay, they are building something gradually. But one thing that has surprised me is that with all the chants about Newcastle being the wealthiest club, they don't seem to spend. It looks like when it comes to PSL rules, they are just borderline, almost being fined. I don't know.
So that is what is quite surprising because when the Saudis came in, everybody was thinking that, Charlie, these guys are going to be buying it. But I think they've maintained their cool. They've brought in very players that they've actually been able to use for their agenda.
I hear there are some PSA challenges. I don't know whether it's how much they spend on Bruno and all this and that, because it looks like
maybe because that's what they are trading cautiously.
Yeah,
that's what they are trading.
So they can't just throw money into it.
But there's also this school of thought that people are saying that, after they won the trophy, which they have not won a very long time, they lost their concentration in the last part of the season.
That can be a good argument. That can be a good argument.
The last part of the season, they were drawing and losing other games.
That can be a good argument.
But for that, I think they could have been able to do a lot because they were on a very wild streak and they were scoring and winning games and all that. But I think kudos to him. He's done a lot.
Yes.
He's done wonderful. Yeah.
Let's talk about a special shout out to Nuno Espírito Santos.
Nuno Espírito Santos. Charlie.
Nuno's story is a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
He's been with Wolves, and it didn't go so well. Well, I mean, he was there for a while. He built a good team. He built a lot of Portuguese guys that really were doing amazing. And then, I mean, by every story in football, once you stay for too long, it gets stale, it gets flat.
Yeah.
And at some point, I mean, they had to basically let him go. But I don't think they even let him go. I think Tottenham came to swap him. He went into Tottenham to build something good. But
it didn't go well at Tottenham.
It didn't go well because, I mean, if you look at Tottenham and their history, the coaches that have come in there, you can't blame it on Nuno. And he didn't do so great.
Yeah.
He went to Saudi, did his own thing there for about a year.
Yeah. I think it was less than a year.
Yeah. And the opportunity of Nottingham Forest came. Yeah. Now, everybody would have said, okay, this is a dog who have come to lick his wounds. Just keep it out there, keep them in the league, and just try and make sure that they are not relegated. Just keep it simple. And, I mean, he would have had a job for a couple of years and all that. But Nuno came in there, and surprisingly, I think if you're looking at the most surprising team of the season, that would be Forest.
Yeah.
He started pulling down trees, and then he's up there destroying the top four race. The next thing you know, he's third position. He brought in some, and the way they recruit Forest was quite interesting. They looked at these top gems who are almost forgotten in the EPL. Your Elangas, Osinodois, the boy from the captain. What's his name? The one who came from Wolves. That's their captain. He brought in some very young energy and mixed it with experience. And they started, I mean, their defense is solid.
Solid.
I mean, it's crazy. To score Forest is not a joke. Although what really affects them is that sometimes their concentration within games, the game management always comes to haunt them. When they are leading, they are great with comebacks. But when they are leading, especially with the smaller teams, you don't know what they do. They just lose concentration and they concede games that they are not supposed to concede.
I think Forest has been amazing.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, people didn't take them too serious. I think a lot of teams were caught off guard. That was one of the teams that scored Liverpool that we struggled the whole game. It was a 1-0 game. And I think
scored by Arsenal, I remember.
Yeah, Arsenal.
That would have hit.
Yeah. So I think that he's done very well. And for me, with the kind of players that he has and the kind of game that he plays, I'm always watching his game. I'm telling myself, if this guy had enough money to spend and had good players, he would have done marvelously well in the league. But like you're saying, sometimes experience comes to play, and concentration. You know, they are playing games that they are playing with the normal mid-table teams, and they get to be scored. But when they're playing the top 4 teams, they have find a way of trying to pull out.
Well, they are the underdogs.
Yeah.
So they want to do something.
So I think he's done very well.
Yeah.
But then I also believe that the problem with these teams are the consistency.
Yeah, true.
So if he doesn't have enough money to beef up the team this time around, he might not be the Nottingham Forest of 2024-2025 season. Well, things might change.
Well, this season they point above their weight. Nobody's expecting them to get to these numbers that they did this season again. But I think the pressure at Forest gives him room to experiment, gives him room to do his best. And sometimes your best shocks everybody. You get it. So for me, it's a perfect place for him. If he can stay there for up to 5 seasons, he could build something solid.
He could. If they could give him that room. Because I've seen him with the owner of Nottingham. I think they have a good relationship as well.
No, they had this thing that came in the media. You remember there was the last game. I think
the guy came on
the pitch and there was whatever. Which later he explained that it wasn't about that. But
he explained.
And the owner was a bit worried.
But I know the owner is a very passionate guy. He's very emotional.
The media thought it could have been done out of the cameras, away from the cameras. And it wasn't necessary. But I mean, Nuno is doing fantastic.
He's doing well. He's doing well.
Shout for the season. Now let's look at another segment of this whole discussion: the worst performing teams. I mean, they are naturally those who are relegated. You say are the worst performing teams. But I think if you look at this season, the teams that were relegated are the teams that came up from the championship anyway. So you can't really be surprised there.
You can't.
But the biggest surprise is the teams that you were expecting at the top, and they find themselves down there. We're talking about United and Tottenham. I said that all these teams have their challenges. They all have issues in there that we are going to delve into. So let's unpack it one by one. Ruben Amorim. You know, until I looked at the stats closely, I always assumed, he came mid-season, he had just about 15 games to go. But when I looked at the stats, I only played 27 games, which is actually quite significant. If you are on top of your game, you should be able to turn things around. But 27 games, he won just 7. He drew about 6 and then lost 14. That is a relegation team statistics. Meaning that if he had played 38 games on these same numbers, United could have been relegated. Because it looks like he actually even benefited from points that Ten Hag accumulated before he left. If not, it would have been crazy. He actually only got 27 points out of 27 games. What's your take?
I mean, I've always had a different posture with issues about Amorim. The stats speaks for itself. Woefully unacceptable for a team like Manchester United. To play 27 games and actually to lose 14 of them is actually a big deal. However, I keep on saying that, and I'll make these comparisons. When Ange Slot came to Liverpool, we didn't know what was going to happen. Because we had Klopp and things were going wonderfully well. When Ten Hag was leaving Manchester United, things were not all that good. So there were challenges. And there were challenges about Ten Hag himself, how he speaks to the media. There were challenges about the players in Manchester.
And his relationship.
And apart from his relationship, there were even discussions about how the players were not even pulling their weight and playing as they were expected to. Now, Amorim comes in and, I mean, the media is all over. Amorim is here, blah, blah, blah. He speaks to the media and all that. But even within all those times that all that was happening, I personally, as a football fan, I still knew that Amorim was going to have challenges. Because the problems at Manchester United, aside taking the coach away, the problems of the players still existed. Here was Arne Slot. I'm just diverting a bit. Here was Arne Slot coming to take over a team that was very peaceful. The team chemistry was there. all the players were upbeat, all the players were playing their football. I mean, apart from the contract issues that had to do with, I mean, the owners and all that, everything was smooth.
Okay.
So Ange Slot comes. But when Ten Hag, Amorim came, things were not smooth like that, though.
Okay.
So, fair enough. That is why you were brought in. We were brought in to change all the bad happenings in the team. We were brought in to change the style of the game and all that, so that Manchester United becomes the Manchester United that all the fans know.
Okay.
But it was still going to be challenging.
Okay.
He was able to bring in 1 or 2 players, granted. But then I still say that for him, once you didn't start the league with your own way of playing, the mentality that you wanted to instill in your players and whatnot, you would have these challenges which actually existed before you came. So things could have gone well. I mean, players could have decided to say that, let's kill ourselves for this coach and perform well, and let's see how the next season goes. But Manchester, as we speak now, they don't have that caliber of players. Manchester that we talk about now doesn't have the players that are ready to die and kill for their team. I might be wrong, but I don't know which Manchester United player that you can mention about 5 of them and say that these players are going to kill themselves for the team. And for that matter, we can use these players to kill off the season and see what happens the next season. So all the pressure was on this young man that came, and he was expected to do so well. And I'll repeat myself and say that it doesn't necessarily mean that the performance at the end of the season was good, especially for a team like Manchester United. However, I still insist that we can't overlook the challenges that was in Manchester United when this guy came in. So for me, it was a poor performance for Manchester United.
Okay.
Unfortunately for him, you are attached to the team. If it went well, we would have said that the coach did well. It didn't go well, so we can say that the coach did bad. For a Manchester team to be in a 15th position is highly unacceptable. But we can't decide to take our eyes off the ball.
Okay.
The fact was that there were challenges in there.
Well, my opinion is different. I think you are being very lenient. I think barring whatever challenges, and these are all speculated because we don't actually know what the details of these challenges are. Because if we were aware of player boycotts, we were aware of whatever, then I could side with you. But everything that we are saying now, we are basically assuming.
But not to catch you, but we had issues where Marcus Rashford had issues with him.
But what did he do? He banned him from training and took him out of the team.
Yeah, and so that should show you that the coach came into a team that had challenges. Because if you had to come into a team and ban one of your key players in Manchester United, who were going to actually help you to achieve whatever targets you wanted to achieve, then there were problems. So some of these things are not speculations. These are things that actually happen when it comes to the players.
No, but I say, for me, no matter what caliber of coach you are, unless you are a mid-tier or lower-tier coach, 27 games, winning 7 is a diamond record. Even if you don't have your kind of players, even if you have a certain kind of attitude within the team, the back stops with you. You have to ensure that, listen, so are you telling me if a Mourinho or a Pep or Klopp went into United with these same problems, these figures would have been the numbers they should know? I think they will still do better. You understand? For a United to be finishing 15th, it's like the worst thing that could ever happen. And no matter how much slack I want to cut a coach, I still struggle to be able to find the excuse that will make enough reason, or the excuse that really will hold water for the performances that Amorim showed. He had a master stroke, and the master stroke that would have saved his season was 1 game. Go and play a Europa League final and you'll be forgiven for everything else. So choose your best 11, give them the strategies that can save your season. This is a make it or break it. If, let's say, Amorim's career depended on this, you're telling me he couldn't pull that up? Because through this, all your excuse of my players, whatever, you go into the Champions League, you have money to spend, whatever, you set yourself up for a very good season.
Yeah.
But here's the case, you couldn't do that. And anybody who decides to throw the spotlight at you and ask questions will be right. Because you've had enough opportunities over 27 games to fix it. You couldn't. Now you've been able to get to the final of an European trophy. One game, your life depends on it. Do whatever it takes, and every Manchester United fan would have forgiven the season and say, okay, now let's reset, do whatever we need to do and go again. And that is where I draw the line. That is unacceptable.
Okay.
Do I believe that he deserves time? Of course, 100%. He needs another season to show really if this is what he can do or he can actually do the job. The Manchester United job has proven to be a big job, and not every coach can take on that job, no matter if it goes with all the experiences, let alone a 40-year-old. And no matter what Amorim complains about, he cannot change all 11 players. He still has to stick with some.
Yeah, of course.
And then gradually build a team. Whether he will have time to do that, because I'm sure this season the best they can do will be to bring in about 5 players, which means a core of your team are still going to be there.
Yeah.
So if you've not been able to change the mentality, 5 players cannot come and change the mentality. The possibility of them rather becoming rotten
by the
or being corrupted by what is already there is higher than them coming in and changing the mentality. So for me, the excuse of the players drop tools or down tools, and because of that he couldn't do what I really can't stick with it. A lot still depends on him. And if he brings in players, he needs to find results as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he may not even survive the beginning of the first half of the year to December, because the numbers are that damning. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But let's give him some time, like you said.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens this season, and we can take it from there.
Okay.
All right.
Now let's go to the hot issue. Big Ange.
Yeah.
Postecoglou. It is a very interesting discussion.
A sad ending.
Yeah, because for me, you don't know. It's I don't know. Listen, for Ange, he's able to deliver a trophy.
Yeah.
And not any trophy, but an European trophy. Europa League is actually a big deal.
It's actually a big deal, yeah.
You understand? And there are so many arguments that the structure changed on the Europa League. That's why he benefited, because usually what happens is that the team that don't perform in the Champions League are dropped into the Europa League. So sometimes you get quality coming in there, and you never know what teams can come in there and worry you. You will get a team as big as even PSG
coming into
the Europa League. Liverpool have been there and all that. You get it. So, I mean, the carpet was set for them. But, I mean, you have to make your luck. What was given is what he used. You get it. And in his some of his comments after the league, whether true or false, at that point, you can't blame him. He said, at some point in the season, I decided that we are going to put everything on Europa and forget about the EPL, because it's gone.
Yeah.
Whether that is true or not, you wouldn't know. But we've said it here. Ange is a man of talk. I remember he said, in my second season,
I win a trophy.
I always win a trophy. And guess what? He won a trophy. Now, we get to a point where, based on the fact that out of 38 games, he won just 11, he drew 5 and lost 22.
Yeah.
That has cost him his job. Although he delivered a major trophy for Tottenham in a very long time, if not their existence.
Yeah.
But he still lost his job. And that is what makes the conversation interesting. What is your thought on this?
Yeah, I mean, Ange's case is quite dramatic in a sense. For me, every coach has its targets given to him by the owners of the club.
Definitely.
So sometimes we, the fans, might see a coach performing on one angle, but then the owners might have a different opinion.
Sure.
Like you said, we don't know how true that is about those comments about forgetting about the EPL at the stage and putting all their eggs in our basket of the Europa League, which for me, that would be an unfortunate comment.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we are going into the EPL, if not to even win at all, not to perform woefully at this particular point, as a team like Tottenham, is unacceptable. So I just think that the owners looked at the issues holistically to take a decision.
Okay.
And we've had this conversation, if you want to take a decision and just make judgment based on the Europa League final alone, you'll be making a big mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, because you would have to play another league to be able to find yourself in the Champions League or in the Europa League.
Okay.
Okay, so if there is a mindset as owners of the club, we are going to tolerate and say that, oh, if you didn't perform well in the EPL, it's fine, you performed here, then we are dropping the standards of the team called Tottenham.
I don't think that is fair. Because
so, that's fine. But then, so if you perform so woefully bad and you've gotten a trophy at Europa, you can still be sacked, and which makes sense.
I see. Here's a case where his performances are not only linked on now or based on his tactics and strategies or whatever. We are having a situation whereby, if you're talking about one of the teams that were woefully affected by injuries, Tottenham will be up there. There comes a time where, or there was a time in the season where his entire defense, the entire defensive line, first were all injured. He had to make shift.
But you use that to win the Europa League.
Wait, I'm coming in there. No, he got some of them back for the Europa League. You get it? So it's not like, his stats were just so poor, that's why he performed badly. You have to put it in context.
But how many years has he been in Tottenham?
2 years.
How was his performance last season?
The last season was not bad. I mean, they didn't go into Europe, but they were actually not as bad as the 70s.
I don't think it has gone well. In fact, if with the conversation has only changed because he's won a trophy with Europa.
No, but
Ange has not performed that well for Tottenham.
You see, for me, what actually is I'll land on his doorstep is that as a coach, and I have a problem with coaches who talk about philosophy. This is my philosophy, to the point where even if it's not working,
they want to stick to it.
They still stick to it. To me, for me, that is ridiculous. Because when it came to winning the Europa League, guess what? He abandoned his philosophy. They scored one goal and defended deep with their hearts.
The whole game,
The whole game. And United had no answers because he knew that this is what I'm going for.
I have to change it.
Exactly. And for me, whether you like it or not, nobody's going to care about how you played. It's always what you want. And he did deliver. Well, would I say it was a fair decision to sack him or not? I think at least he could have been given half of the season this season to see what he can do. You see, I think Tottenham, the directors got caught up on what happened at United, where Ten Hag won an FA Cup and then they decided to renew his contract and see what he can do, and he went pear-shaped. So they assumed that
we don't know what might happen.
So let's just make our decision now and move on. But I think looking at the emotions that comes with a club that have not won any trophies for such a long time, I think he had that credit in the bank that at least give me some time. And it would have been a big surprise to him because if you remember, they went on their parade. He took the microphone and said, the season 3 is always better. Meaning that
at that point, he had no idea. At that point,
so which means he thought that everything I've delivered, at least I would have been given a time to correct my mistakes. And he showed that he can be flexible. If in the Europa League he changes ways to win, maybe now he will learn and say, okay, fine. Certain teams, maybe I will have to sit deep to get my results.
But so my other problem is that if you watch the kind of injuries he suffered, most of them were his defensive line and some of his midfielders. And
even attacking. Because even the final, he didn't have one of his top guys, the Ofri, what's his name? The Italian.
Which Italian Ofri is that?
Oh, he had this attacker that, what's his name? No, it's not. It's not Richarlison.
Richarlison is Brazilian.
There's this guy. He came from the Serie A. The name will come to me. Let's go.
Because I just feel that he had at every point in time he had a certain caliber of players that were supposed to help him out. But then because even if you are being scored, I think his front line all the time he had the caliber of players that were supposed to be. But honestly. If you are an owner of a club, you find yourself in such a position to make a decision.
Even though you're a club that don't win.
But then But who says that if I'm a club who doesn't win, I'm supposed to tolerate mediocre performance?
How is mediocre if I delivered you a trophy, an European trophy that you've never won before?
It's a mediocre performance.
Oh,
so I think I like his spirit. I like his demeanor.
Yeah.
But I just think that for the decision that they have taken, I don't think they've done anything that terrible.
If you ask me, one of the things that really dented his opportunity to continue is that when they were losing badly, he got to a point where he was even taking on fans. At the end of games, fans were shouting.
Charlie, at that point, it's tough, bro.
You can't be emotional.
You need to realize that Amorim even changed. The Amorim darling boy was always smiling.
I get that, but the point is that it got so heated that he was even basically arguing with fans, being very, very...
Yeah, he was aggressive at a point.
The media and all that. So I guess all that came into that decision.
It's tough, Charlie.
He's a winner. I'm sure he'll go on and continue to win.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that if you can't see the opportunity he brings or the advantages and he decides to move away, that's fine. But I've seen they've gone for a safe bet in Thomas Frank. Who has come from Brentford.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've all seen that sometimes it's not so easy a transition.
No.
Because Thomas Frank had a long time with Brentford in the Championship. He has built his team, moved them into the EPL, and has been able to stay there. Although he's not up there, he's always landing around the 10th, 9th, 8th there.
Yeah.
And for a team like Brentford, it's fantastic. Now you're bringing him to Tottenham and you're expecting him to qualify for Europe, possibly Champions League. Let's quickly just wrap. Do you think Thomas Frank can deliver?
I find it difficult to believe that. I don't know. I don't even know why Thomas Frank, because for me, I feel as though that his performance, like you're saying, with the team is dependent on how long he had been with the team.
Yeah.
Him actually selling his ideology to the players that he's playing with and getting them to where they are today. And even for the numbers that he's churning out at Brentford, that is not the standard for Tottenham.
Yeah. Join us in the comment section. Let us know who you think also deserves a mention. Add your voice to the conversation. And let's see you again in the next episode. See you. Bye-bye. Cheers.